Oh my gosh, I love Ray! Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Sky Striker. Sky Striker just received some more new support, even though we just received new support, in the form of 2 cards. Actually, I think it is literally just 2 cards. And that is Sky Striker Ace 0, as well as Special Maneuver, Lemnis Gate. Sure. Now, let's just talk about Sky Striker in general. Sky Striker, up until this point, has been a Go Second deck for quite some time. You would throw in the Tenpai package and just like draw a whole bunch of cards, then do the Tenpai stuff and just like break boards. That is generally what you would accomplish. Because the thing is, a lot of spells tend to be better going second. Things like Thrust, Triple Tack, Droplet, the Board Wipes in Raigeki, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, etc. So that is generally what the deck was aimed to do. You go second, you break a board, and then you kill your opponent with the Tenpai cards. That has more or less remained the same, except for now, instead of trying to OTK with the Tenpai cards, you actually do have a lot more that you can do simply because of these 2 cards. So let's talk about them. We're going to just talk about 0 first, because this card is absolutely crazy. First and foremost, it requires 2 Sky Striker Ace monsters in order for you to summon it, and it cannot be used as link material. Now, this is not nearly as bad as it may seem, but for the most part, you can summon this with either linkage or your Sky Striker Ray, which is pretty crazy. And on top of that, it has an effect to get itself off of the field so that you still have the ability to use the extra monster zone for other such things. But on summon, or more specifically on special summon, you can add a Sky Striker spell from deck or grave to your hand, which is just a solid effect, right? It allows you to actually do a lot more just in general, right? It's another way to access Engage, which is very nice. It means you don't have to hard draw Engage. It's access to pretty much any other card as well, like, for example, a linkage or a special maneuver or whatever it may be, right? Very, very solid. However, the second effect is where this card becomes very good for establishing your own board. So this card says, on top of the special summon effect, you could tribute this card in order to special summon both Ray and Rose from deck and or grave, and then destroy a card on the field. So, because of the way that this is worded, it is a non-target destruction, which is great, and on top of that, you do get 2 guys on your field as additional protection, which is, again, not bad. All of this just allows you to more effectively set up disruption on or for the opponent's turn after having broken a board, meaning you now no longer have to play a lot of these cards that may not actually be useful in breaking boards, and you can more effectively play your Sky Striker stuff, right? So you don't have to play the Tenpai stuff, is basically what I'm trying to say. So, with that being said, what is the spell card that's worth playing? Well, Lemnis Gate is a card that says target an equal number of Sky Striker Ace monsters and Sky Striker spells in your grave, shuffle them into the deck, and then for every 3 cards shuffled, you can return up to 1 card on the field. Meaning, if you shuffle back 6 cards, you can shuffle back 2 cards, or sorry, return 2 cards from the field to the hand. Pretty solid, right? All things considered, that is a pretty solid effect. It's mostly going to be there for the recursion, right? Being able to put cards back is very nice. One of the things that we would previously do, or what Sky Striker players could previously have done, is they would play Avarice, Pot of Avarice, to shuffle back the Sky Striker monsters so that you could use them again, right? Putting back things like Kagari or Shizuku or what have you. And this is basically the same thing. However, it has another effect, which is what makes this card so useful. If a Sky Striker monster is special summoned to your field while this card is in your grave, you can banish this card to immediately link summon a Sky Striker Ace monster, meaning 0 can immediately go back into 0 by using the Lemnis Gate. Let me explain. So you would tribute this card in order to special summon the Ray and the Rose, and then as soon as those cards are summoned, or even after you activate the effect of Ray in order to special summon another guy, you can then use the Lemnis Gate, banish it, and then summon out another 0 by using the 2 material. Pretty cool. And it cleans up your main monster zones after having summoned monsters to your main monster zones with 0, which means that you still have the ability to activate other such effects, like for example a Widow Anchor or a Linkage or whatever it may be, which is pretty nice because you kind of need your zones clear. So that's it for the deck, or for the new cards. Let's actually talk about the deck card by card. We're going to start off here with, of course, Maxi. We're playing Maxi, playing 2 of those. Then we have the 3 Ray. I'm just using alternate artworks. And then the 1 Rose. And Rose is kind of a brick, but it's only a pseudo brick because Rose has the ability to special summon itself and get itself into the graveyard pretty effectively. So it's not exactly difficult to, if you do end up drawing the Rose, to then, get it into the graveyard for the effect of 0. But yes, 0 cannot summon Rose or Ray from hand. So do keep that in mind. That being said, that is it for the monsters. We're literally playing 6 monsters, and that's it. In the TCG, they don't have Maxi, and they still just play 4 monsters. So, there you go. As for the rest of the cards, it's pretty simple. We're playing a bunch of board wipes, most notably the back row removal, things like Harpy's Feather Duster, Heavy Storm, and the Lightning Storms we're playing. And then, of course, we were playing the things like Thrust. So we're playing 3 Triple Tactics Thrust, as well as 2 Triple Tactics Talents. We're also playing just some draw spells, some generic ones, Upstart and Pot of Desires. And as for the rest of the cards, it's a lot of just striker stuff. The 3 Engage, the 3 Linkage, the 3 Widow Anchor, pretty standard, and then a bunch of 1-ofs, Jamming Waves for additional back row removal, and for the fact that it also destroys a monster without targeting, which is pretty good. In Area 0, a Mecha Module, the Ego Booster, the Shark Cannon, and then the 2 Maneuver, or Lemniscates. We're also only playing 1 Hornet Drones, and I know it may seem strange to not play more, but the thing is, this card is kind of a dead card. Most of the time you want to see Ray, or you want to see Linkage. Linkage is just better generally. And while Hornet Drones is not bad, right, because you can go Kagari into Hornet Drones, or you can go Hornet Drones into Kagari into add back the Hornet Drones into 0. That is a play that you could do. For the most part, I don't think it's worth it to do that, right? Most of the time you want to use Kagari to grab back your Engage to generate more advantage. And so, while it is nice, I think there are just better cards to play. So, there's that. You could also play more drones if you wanted to. There's a lot of instances where it's just, like, not good, right? It doesn't help you break boards. It doesn't help you establish your own. It's not really disruption. It's just a way to kind of start your combo. And I think there's enough ways to see that you don't really need to, right? So, there's that. As for the other cards that we're playing, we are playing 1 Herald of the Abyss as a thrust target to deal with the Lunalight stuff. And we're just kind of like hoping and praying they don't make 2 Liger Dancers. That's it. We're just like hoping and praying they don't have a second Liger Dancer. And that's pretty much it in terms of the cards. Rhoda and Upstart and Desires are also in here. We're also playing Called By, obviously. And that's pretty much it. As for the extra deck, we are playing the 1 Typhon. Comes up a fair few amount of times. And then we're actually cutting a lot of names, just in general, for the Sky Striker cards. And the reason for this is because you can just shuffle them back now. And it's very easy. So we're playing 2 Kagari. We're playing 1 apiece of Shizuku and Hayate and Kaina. And then we're also playing 2 Zeke. The reason for the second Zeke is that it's just a way to get cards off the field more effectively. Because it just requires a monster and a Sky Striker Ace monster, it's very easy to get cards off the field. But one of the things that you can do as well is you can banish your own 0 that's kind of stuck in the extra monster zone. You can just banish it and then, like, boom, there you go. Now you have the extra monster zone available. You can kind of proceed from there. On top of that, it can also just boost itself. There's a lot of different things that you can do to with Zeke, so it's very useful to have that additional name. We're playing a Dark. We're playing in Azalea. Azalea is just more removal. We have in SP Little Knight. We're also playing 3-0. Yes, you do need 3. It does come up. You could play 2. It's still playable with 2. But I do think 3 is optimal. And then the 1 Axis Code Talker. And that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alrighty, so here we are going second, as we are aim to do. And let's see what my opponent can accomplish. They're playing Mitsurugi. So we're going to be here a while. But also, this is a pretty difficult board to break, even with, you know, a good hand, which, to be fair, our hand is pretty good. So this could be an issue, right? Anyway, let's see what my opponent is able to accomplish. They add back the Ritual. We know that they have the Negate as well, which is kind of interesting. They grab the Trap. They also grab Nibiru here, and out comes the Ritual. We're going to activate that to go for Futsu. Futsu is actually... it's not that big of a deal here, but it could be an issue. They do have the Mirror, which I believe they searched earlier. Out comes Habakiri. They're going to go for the Futsu. They're going to grab Magatama, which is a terrible card. Don't play this card. I don't know who's playing Magatama. No, don't play this card. It's just never worth it. You're better off playing Prayers. So, there's that. Anyway. My opponent sets 3 and passes with the Dynamondo as well, and that helps quite substantially. Here's the thing. I think prior to the draw of the Triple Tactics Thrust, I don't think we win this game. That does allow us to win this game. So we're going to start off here by just negating with the Widow Anchor. We're just going to negate the Murakumo. And you might be like, oh, why are we doing this? Honestly, it's to bait out the negate. That's, like, ultimately what I'm trying to do. So they allow that to go through, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to activate my draw plate here. And they do chain here, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just negate the Futsu when it hits the field. And now I can go for the Triple Tactics Thrust, which they still allow. I'm like, okay. I go for the Engage. They still allow it. I draw an additional card. Crazy draws as well. But we're going to go for the Maneuver with the Jamming Wave, and now they go for the Great Purification. Honestly, at this point, why even activate it? But, okay. Anyway, we're going to go for the linkage as well and send away the guide. Anyway, out comes the 0 off of the linkage effect, and they're going to go for their Murakumo. No, not Murakumo. Futsu. I elect to called by here. This is actually kind of a mistake. I shouldn't have called by here. I should have saved the called by for the Murakumo here, because I know that they still have the Nagatama, which tributes a monster, so I should have just saved it for their Murakumo there so that they couldn't get that back. Alas, it didn't matter. They had the called by, or the Ghost Bell, so not that big of a deal, but alas. There you go. So they're going to shuffle back the Mirror, and then out comes the Futsu. They're going to search out the Prayers, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Because at the very least, we still get 0 here, which is going to grab another Engage. Of course, we're going to activate the Engage as well. And they go for the Magatama here and just destroy a face-up card. Again, this card is terrible. This card is terrible. It's just, like, not worth it ever. So, sure. They're going to pop here, and we're just going to grab the Raid to the hand. And we get a draw card. This card literally saves us this game because of the set card here, which I'm assuming is Prayers. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to normal summon the Ray here, and it's Super Polymerization. And they pitch another Super Polymerization. And I'm like, oh, no! Out comes Mud Dragon. I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty bad. They're going to go Mud Dragon. I'm going to go for the Widow Anchor here, and they're going to attempt to negate it. But that's fine. I'm just going to chain here the Hornet Drones. I still have the discard here. Yes, this card is good, right? And it could have helped me wipe the field. It's much better just to get the guaranteed steal and negate here. So we're going to do that instead. Out comes the Kagari. Kagari effect is going to activate, and we're going to add it back to our hand if we engage. And at this point, we have to go to combat so that we can deal with the Mud Dragon. And now we can actually go into a Zeke here. And Zeke can target and deal with this guy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to banish. Out comes Nibiru. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine, that's fine. We still have Ray in Grave as well, which means we still have the ability to use this card as material. Anyway, out comes Ray. We're going to link off here in order to go into our Azalea. And at this point, we can activate the Azalea, just popping our opponent's monster. And now we can activate our Engage as well. We're going to grab up the multi-roll so that we have the ability to set additional cards and just generate advantage from there. Which is kind of funny, because we also did draw Upstart Goblin. And then we draw into Linkage, which is actually, again, not terrible. Out comes the Shizuku as well. We're going to set one and pass the turn. We're going to activate the Shizuku. We're going to grab the Shark Cannon so that we can banish our opponent's Murakumo, so that they just don't have access to that. And then we get to also reset a Widow Anchor. I could have reset the Shark Cannon as well. However, I do think that the Widow Anchor is a little bit better. Being able to negate and steal a monster can be a little bit more advantageous. And Shark Cannon's not really going to do anything when they have the 2 rituals in Grave. So for the most part, I just think it's better to grab the Widow Anchor here and kind of guarantee that I don't die. So there's that. Anyway, this is kind of an interesting situation that I'm in. I knew they had prayers. I also know the other card in hand is ritual, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm pretty sure that in this position, or I should say, I don't know the last card in their hand. Oh, it was mirror that I think they drew, or not drew. That I think they had in hand. Anyway, the point that I'm making is, I don't know if they have the necessary material here. So while I could have like negated the Kusanagi and potentially have cut them off of whatever it may be, I also don't need to, and I don't know if they could potentially have those necessary materials in hand for a follow-up. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna hold off. They search out another prayers here. I'm like, sure. And then out comes the Dynamondo. Dynamondo effect is going to attempt to shuffle, and of course we are just going to negate. I'm not going to steal. There's no point in stealing here. It just turns off. It would have just turned off our linkage, so I elect to not steal. My opponent sets 2 and passes, and that's fine, because guess what? We are going to go into 0. I'm also going to, I believe, search here. No, I don't search. I decide to tribute to special summon here, so we're going to special summon, and I'm going to pop the Dynamondo, and then I'm going to also link off here. And we're just going to link into Jeek. This is kind of a bit of a mistake for me. I was still a little bit new here. What I should have done is just popped a back row and then go Jeek and then banish. But alas, it's fine. Anyway, we do get to set a few cards here. So we set the Engage and the Shark Cannon. And at this point, I mean, I know that one of these cards is a prayer and the other one is likely not going to matter. So there's that. We do grab the maneuver here, as well as we draw into Maxi, which is kind of funny. We're going to send a card to the graveyard, and then we're going to activate the effect of the special maneuver, just shuffling back a whole bunch of cards. Yeah, I targeted like a whole bunch. Quite frankly, probably too many. But we're going to bounce here. I'm going to go for the Shark Cannon. And I actually make a mistake here. I clicked the non-summonable Murakumo. This monster was not properly summoned, so I couldn't summon it. Oops. I was going to try and target and summon a guy and then go into dark and go dark and like banish. Or like go combat and then go into SP and like banish from there. But alas, oops, my bad. It's fine. We'll just make Hayate. We'll go to combat here. I figured they had an imperm. That's fine. We're just going to deal 15 here and then just link off into Kagari. And we do have some targets here. We have like linkage and stuff like that. I do end up grabbing back the Lemnis Gate, and now comes Shizuku. We're just gonna set one. We're gonna activate the Mecha Module, and then I realize, oh wait, Mecha Module is actually going to turn off our Lemnis Gate, which is kind of an oopsie on my part because now I don't have any targets in the graveyard to shuffle back, so that's on me. But alas, it's fine. Out comes prayers. I'm like, that's fine. I did end up drawing into Maxi because of course I did. And this game is basically over at this point. There's not like a whole lot that my opponent can do here. They're just out of resources, right? So there's that. They're gonna go for the Great Purification, summon out this guy, and I'm just gonna keep drawing cards. Out comes Murakumo. You're gonna activate the effect of not the Murakumo, but the card in Grave to special summon it back. I don't know why we elect not to activate the Murakumo, but alas, I don't know why there's a Droll on the field, but okay. I guess they gave up. I mean, I would give up. Oh, just kidding. It was time limit. I think the problem my opponent had was there was not really a good way to get out of that. And if they activate the Murakumo, I just negate with the Widow Anchor, and I think they knew that. So, yeah. That game was pretty heavily in our favor at that position. So, good game. Even without the Maxi, that's like a very difficult game for them to win. So, again, good game. Alrighty, here we are once again going second, and wow, look at that hand. That hand is crazy good. Well, it's Millennium, so I don't know, this droplet might do something. Except for the fact that it's not Millennium, it's actually Adamancipator. Except for the fact that I'm also lying to you, it's not Adamancipator, it's so much worse. This is a 60-card deck, and here's the thing. If we don't draw Droplet here, this game was unplayable. Like, legitimately just not capable of happening. So my opponent's going to do a bunch of things. None of it will matter until the very end. So, just sit back and watch this very boring combo. Because, quite frankly, it's not going to be all that interesting. They're going to do some heinous things, but it's not going to be, like, a cool combo. It's just going to be like, oh yeah, this is stuff that you can do, right? Because for some reason, Block Dragon exists. Also, it's crazy that they did not brick. Like, they just didn't brick. Also, Zelantis is here. I don't know why he's here, but he is here. You know, emotional support in Zelantis, because they elected to not have the effect. Actually, you'll see why later in the turn, why the Zelantis is here, but yeah. Anyway, they have pretty much everything here. And again, if I don't have Droplet, this game is unbelievably over. Luckily, I do. So, there's that. Also, I did need a monster, and we did draw it. So that's pretty good. My opponent is going to negate the Goblin here, and I'm going to send away exactly 3. It would have been nice to be able to send away a 4th, but yeah, you can only send away the 3. So, we're going to do that, and we're going to negate the problem cards in the Nap Beast, the Baron, and of course the Pachycephalo. From this position, we can activate the linkage. My opponent's just going to continue to mill. Also, they do have a Shuffler in Grave, which is very annoying, very frustrating. But alas, that's fine. We're going to send away the field spell and summon out the 0. Activate the effect of the 0 to search out a card. And we are going to special summon it from the deck using our airspace. Out comes Ray. Oh my gosh, Ray. We're also going to link off into the Kagari here. We're going to activate the effect of the Kagari to add back the linkage, which I don't know why they don't decide to shuffle there, but it's fine. We're going to go for Hayate. We're going to go to combat here, and my opponent is going to destroy with the Zelantis. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs! Yeah, Zelantis has the ability during the battle phase to pop cards equal to the number of co-linked cards, which is a problem, because now they get to shuffle back our monsters, or our cards. So, yeah, even Ray doesn't get to resolve. That's okay. We still have the engage here. So we're going to go engage into linkage, and we're going to go into the Kaina here just as a guy to kind of put onto the field. And then we're going to activate the effect of our Mecha Module, and then activate the Horned Drones, which we drew into, and now go into Zeke. Zeke is going to banish the Nat Beast here, and then go into Shizuku. At this point, this may seem pretty bad, but alas, we still have yet to search during the end phase. So, during the end phase, we get to activate the Lemnis Gate under the Mecha Module, which is great. So we're going to target exactly 6 cards, which is the 3 Sky Striker Aces and the 3 spells. Realistically, I do kind of goof a tad bit, because I think I have 3 bounces here. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to, you know, bounce 3 cards. So I'm going to bounce the 3 extra deck monsters. Wrong. I only have 2 bounces here. So what I should do is bounce Zelantis and bounce Baron. I don't do that. I instead bounce these Saryuya. Now granted, this actually does end up saving me. However, I do a bit of a goof, and I summon Rose here as well, which is again not great, because now I can't do any of my use any of my cards. So I'm like, oh shoot. However, with the Zelantis, it doesn't matter too much. But alas, Zelantis effect is going to activate so that they can actually use their monsters, right? Because of Pachycephalo, they have to put it face down. I'm like, okay. That's also why I left it for them, because, like, they just can't do anything with it. So I'm like, okay. That being said, I want you to read Block Dragon for me, okay? What is the first line of text? Cannot be normal summon or set. Okay, what's the second line? Sorry. Must be special summoned from hand or grave by banishing 3 from hand or grave. Meaning, the Zelantis cannot special summon back the Block Dragon. So they're going to special summon back my guy, and I'm like, okay. And then I think they realize at that moment, oh, I can't actually summon back the Block Dragon because it's not summoning it via its own effect. Because it has to be special summoned via its own effect. Which means they they just banish a block dragon and they don't have anything. Like, as cool as Zelantis is, it doesn't do anything by itself. And the Patrocephalo isn't going to do anything. They don't have anything in Grave, technically. They might have had the ability to do something from Grave, but again, it's not looking good for my opponent. And while I technically don't have much there, I also have more than my opponent. If turn passes back to me, I just win that game. So I think my opponent realizes the writing on the wall and concedes. By the way, they got uninterrupted combo and still died. Droplet, what a great card. I love Droplet. Droplet's such a good card. Anyway, there you go. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck has changed quite substantially, and it is now a deck that I do enjoy. One of my biggest issues with Sky Striker in the past was how deeply connected to Engage it felt like it needed to be. It felt like it was almost entirely centered around whether or not you got a ton of advantage off of Engage, and now the deck feels more holistically complete. Yes, you do have more access to Engage, but the point of the deck is to put a bunch of those spells into the graveyard and then generate that advantage with not just Engage, but a bunch of the other effects as well, and it actually feels more like a cohesive strategy as opposed to just, I don't know, see more cards than my opponent. So overall, I do actually like this deck a lot more now. That being said, it plays very differently from not only what it's done in the past, but also what it's done, or I should say than like a lot of other decks as well. It actually does feel like a control deck. You're still trying to break the board, but your aim is not to OTK or to immediately win the game by doing so. You are trying to break the board and then slow down the duel to where you get to determine the pace. Similar to that of like Labyrinth and what have you, it works in a very similar fashion, just as a blind second strategy, by generating this additional advantage by playing these very, very powerful spells. Things like the Lightning Storms, the Triple Tax, the Droplets, etc. These are powerful cards that you are allowed to play because of the fact that you have the ability to generate enough advantage to then, like, stabilize, basically. Zero is just a crazy card. So is the Maneuver, the Lemnis Gate, very, very strong. Both of those are very powerful cards and absolutely worthwhile in the deck. So overall, it's a pretty good deck. That being said, Engage is still one of the most busted cards of all time. Holy crap, this card. The fact that this card still exists to this day is baffling to me. And they keep printing more and more broken cards for this strategy. But alas, that's just every card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. Anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did enjoy it. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.